if I am simply writing letters to this officer, that officer, it's not going to come to an end. I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to save my temples. That is why I had resorted to this extraordinary measure. You can take any action against me. I offered my this one neck to the block. Next, please. And now this is from students from this one, Delhi University. Now, number of people are doing research on these temples. Next, please. All groups are now, it has become a beautiful tourist place. Next, please. बटेश्वर के मंदिर सिंगला पर पहुंचे दिल्ली स्कूल के छात्र. Next, please. And this is that Holland ke Mahila team, hockey team, because this has a whole story to tell. Because of all these things, things have completely changed. And these were the people who had won the games. This one, Olympics game in 2012. Next, please. It was this team. It has become a very beautiful place. Next, please. Dacoit self-preserved Morena temples. Next, please. Restored glory. It is front line. Next, please. मलबे में मंदिरों का खजाना. Next, please. टेम्पल सेव सीएम टेल सोनी. अंबिका सोनी से चीफ मिनिस्टर ने कहा, लेकिन मोहम्मद में फेस हीट, अब मेरी बारी है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. ASI turns to RSS, gets help. Times Nation. Wanted illegal mining to stop near Bateshwar. Next, please. This was the kind of support which was given by the president. Illegal miners fire at collector and SP. इन दोनों के ऊपर इन लोगों ने, because normally they don't, collector and SP, nobody attempt on their life. So if they are, firing at collector and SP, what is a poor government archaeological officer for them? Next, please. सुदर्शन जी की पहल पर शासन जागा, खदानें बंद. बटेश्वर मंदिर बचाए, सरसंचालक जी से पुरातत्व विभाग ने लिखा पत्र. कई all the newspapers. Next, please. मोहम्मद ने क्यों लिखा सुदर्शन को खत. सीएम ने उठाया एएसआई अधीक्षक पर सवाल. माय वे ऑफ वर्किंग दैट वाज क्वेश्चन्ड बाय द चीफ मिनिस्टर. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. मैं तो बच गया because the 2010 this one Commonwealth Games was, this one Delhi was preparing for the Commonwealth Games, so Ambika Soni wanted someone who could deliver things in Delhi. As far as the monuments are concerned, not other things, because the monument had a very prominent role, because people would be going to the sport. This one, many of the sports during the night time, but during the daytime they would be visiting all the monuments, Qutub Minar, Lal Killa. So, madam, we had a lot of agenda. So, madam selected me, so I was transferred to Delhi because of this thing, and also because of my connection with this dacoits also. I could say nothing happened to me, although I had this one harsh discussion with these people, sharp exchanges with the mining lobby, and they manhandled our own people also. They did not manhandle me. They did not. They could have done it very easily. Sharp exchanges were there, but a young IPS officer, Narendra Kumar, a very young, 32 years old, he was done to death under the wheels of an illegally this one removed truck. by these people, because it was he who was stopping it. After by that time I had left the place. I was in Delhi. But this young IPS officer, he was done to very brutally, he was done to death by these people under the wheels of an illegally laden, this one, stone laden truck. बेदम बंदूक बेखौफ माफिया सिर्फ एक ही साल में हो चुके थे 50 से ज्यादा हमले. मेरे बेटे की हत्या एक साजिश. सो दैट वाज द कमेंट ऑफ दिस पीपल. तो आज ये कहानी अगर जो ना ये आपसे कहने के लिए मैं नहीं होता, but by I had a providential escape, many providential escapes like this one. Next please. इसके लिए सार्क इंटरनेशनल अवार्ड मिला. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. तो गुलजार साहब ने दिया था. In Delhi there is a very powerful lady, that is Ajit Kaur and Arpana Kaur. Arpana Kaur is a very renowned painter also. So they organize these kind of things. Next please. कई awards मिला इस काम को. Next please. This is from Madras. Later on, the chief minister also realized. He declared an award for me, but I could not go because the French prime minister was coming. So I had to receive him in Qutub Minar. So I deputed my wife. She went and received. Next, please. This is Mohar Singh, because he went to this. Some of the community people went to him, and they said that after my departure, the work has been stopped. So Dadaji kindly write a letter to the Honorable Prime Minister. He wrote last year, and just after 2 months he passed away also. He sent a copy of the letter to me. Now he is completely a changed man. He was 78 years old when he was dying. Next please. During his death. Next please. He was like this one, but now. Next please. He wrote it is a copy of that letter, but nothing has happened. Next please. This is I don't know whether you can you see that in the central portion there is in blue. There is a great a lady, a great woman, a great philanthropist, a great business person, a great lady who is an author, who is a writer, a philanthropist, business person, and one day, with this one, madam sells vegetables in front of this one, Tirupati Mandir also, just to bring her down. This one. So this is Sudha Murthy of the great Infosys, one of the founders of Infosys. One day, madam gave me a call and said, Mohammed, I have been reading a lot about this work, and I would like to visit the place. So last February, we visited the place. There is madam's family members. On the right side is Mr. Deshpande. He runs the this one Akshay Patra of America. It is he. So we were there for 4 days visiting the whole place, various parts of Madhya Pradesh. And madam was, this one, highly impressed by the kind of work we had carried out. And then madam has now given 4 crores of rupees for the conservation of the temples. For the government of India, they speak a lot about this conservation of the monument, this thing, that thing. But during the BJP period, not even a single temple has been reconstructed at this place. At this place I am talking. Not a single temple. It is in an archaeological survey of India in a terrible condition. I have never seen archaeological survey of India in my lifetime, in under such ruinous condition. So, government could have done a lot, They are wasting money like anything, but a little bit of amount could have been given to this kind of work, but that has not happened. So sorry to stay. Next, please. Any moment, this temple can also come down. So a stitch in time is very valuable. Just because of saying that we'll do this thing, that thing, this is not going to be. But are you going to do? Have you done? What is your record? Next, please. This is, I'm just telling you because you are all youngsters. I'll just take 5 minutes, not more than that, because I have taken enough time. This is while I was working in Delhi, because I had a lot of people from various parts of the country as workers. They were coming, they were all migrant workers. In Delhi, in India, we have got more than 15 crores of migrant workers. They are making the great cities, because all of you are architects. Once, I mean, that this one work is over, in your urban planning, because you are urban planners also, there is no space for these people. There is no, because along with these migrant people, their children also come. Sometimes there will be 1 year old, 2 year old, 5 year old, 6 year old. What do? They go to the nearby town for begging. That is what they do. They never get an opportunity. So I too had this problem, because in Delhi, while I was working in various monuments. Next, please. So I and my wife were decided that we'll have some tended school, because in monuments, because you cannot have a permanent tended school. So we arrange. Sometimes it would be in open, because it is a winter season. Just give them uniform, give them food, give them education, give them teachers, Hindi, English, mathematics, and then some inspirational story of people who have come up from a very poor background and made their mark on the world history. ये कहानी उनको बताइएगा, because they would be changing themselves. That is was our curriculum. Next, please. थोड़ा सा खेलने के लिए उनको give them some few facilities. They will enjoy it. They will enjoy it like anything. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनां सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चिदं दुःखभाग्. We can do a lot. You don't have to be a wealthy man for all these things. I managed it. I spent out of my own pocket also. And then once you start it, there are people, very good people are there to help and support you. Next, please. Distributing Kambal on the right side. My wife is distributing, and others, various schools. We were running near about 4 schools. Next, please. एक तो कुतुब मीनार में था, लाल किले में था पूरा. Now there is an extraordinary demand from these parents. उनको भी उन लोगों ने पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है, तो इनको हिंदी सीख लिया है, अब अंग्रेजी ABC लेटर कर रहे हैं. सेकंड लाइट में ये देख लीजिएगा, ये गरीब जो ना, इनको जो ना, इनके हाथ में बच्चे है, 2 साल का 1 साल का बच्चे है, उनको इसमें बिठा के वो पढ़ने के लिए आया है. उनका कहना ये तो कि हम रात में पढ़ेंगे, रात में उनको खाना बनाना है. मैंने कहा खाना हम प्रोवाइड करेंगे. सो ये तो कोई गवर्नमेंट का ये नहीं है. गवर्नमेंट के लिए ये सब बहुत स्कीम्स है, बट सच स्कीम्स often they do not come to the right people. Here we as individuals also, if the government is coming, well, that's good, बहुत अच्छा है, that is. But we as individuals also can play a very leading role in changing the society, because we are all in a very good very position, but we have to pay back to the society, and don't think about religion, your caste, your this one, that one. All this religion and caste and everything is, this is a production of a letter, mind. Leave aside all these things, be very clean, and then let us do something for the Indian society or the poor society. Next, please. कई लोग मेरे साथ आगे. This is Mrs. Draupadi Mishra, Neera Mishra, Draupadi Mishra. She is running an organization known as Draupadi, a women's empowering organization. So all these people were there. Next, please. Next, please. This is Professor Suresh is in professor in England. His wife, they saw the kind of work which we are doing. Then they made a donation. So we won't accept any donation in this one, the cash. We said that you give this kambal next. Yes.
Sorry, sir, but we are running short of time. So,
Oh yes,
uh,
yes. I'll just finish it. Okay. Next, please. Yes. Next, please. Citizen जर्नलिस्ट इसके लिए एक सिटीजन जर्नलिस्ट अवार्ड मिला है. It was given by a person who is very taller than me. Next, please. That was this person, and this was seen by, I mean, another person, a very tall person, taller than him. He wanted to see the same children. Next, please. Next, please. And that was this person, Mr. and Mrs. Obama. They had a lot of questions about India, Indian cultures. उपनिषद के बारे में काफी सवाल पूछा. Next, please. Next, please. And he was the happiest man when he met these children. देखिए जैसे है. And there was one boy, Vishal, who received him, welcomed him. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Obama. Next, please. That was in 2010. In 2012, he came again to India. Next. No, in 2015. Next, please. Next, please. Then, I mean, this one. I mean, many students who had studied in that school, now they have, I mean, they are occupied. This is a Vishal. So, President of America asked him, where is Vishal now? After 5 years, he remembered the boy. So, I honored the boy, because by inviting him into one of my lecture series in Delhi. This is Mata Sundari College. There was a huge gathering. There I introduced this boy and then gave him financial help also. This is how we can serve our own society. So there are various ways of serving the society, and this is one of those things. So thank you all. Thank you, because I don't know, it goes further. I don't have time now. I mean, time is left out because he did not forget. I mean, his this one, because he had such a past. A man who did not forget about his past. So thank you all. Thank you very much for giving a very patient hearing. And in case you have any question, if the time is left out, you can ask me questions also. Next, please. These are all various awards for that things. Next. Thank you very much.
thank you so much, sir. It was a lovely presentation and indeed a very exciting story for all of us. And moving ahead, I would like to first invite our director Manoj for sharing his comments about the presentation.
Namaskar. I have actually visited this place in 2015. I was on my official duty from Council of Architecture, and one of the faculty member was insisting that I should visit this place. And of course, there was a time shortage, and somehow we managed half a day. And I was amazed by the site, the very idea of that site sitting on that hillock, and the gateways, and the series of temples. So I was totally engrossed when I visited the site in my photography, and obviously I was trying to understand how this was and things like that. And I met an old man at the site, and this old man came with the album.
Acha.
Okay, and I don't know his name, but then he showed me
Just
all the pieces together, lying on the floor and things like that. What all you showed me. So I was even more surprised, and I asked him that, how did you do this? So he explained that he explained the whole process in Hindi, started telling me the story about numbering and, how we managed to put things together. And yes, Mohammed Saab helped us in identifying things, because he has a knowledge on history. So it was amazing experience. And I decided to immediately come back to Bombay and write a blog on this. It was 2015, and I think a lot of people, I think it got visibility to those who were interested in this project. And it was really delighted. And I decided at that point that I will call you somehow, but I could not get the number. And somehow I think one of our faculty knew faculty at SPA Bhopal, and we got your number finally. So happening to see that one side you have a profession, other side you have a social and social responsibilities, your ethical and moral positions, and then slowly moving towards philanthropy. I think hats off to you. Thanks. We are privileged to have you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Madhura.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manoj. So we have 2 comments and 1 question in the chat box. I'll just read them out to you. The first comment is by Alka Tiwari, who says, "Wonderful effort by Mohammed sir. I have been to this site and a few more around Gwalior. Nothing compares to conservation of this temple complex." Another one by Medha Dubey. She's a guest and she's also a conservation architect from Jabalpur. She says, "Dr. K.K. Mohammed, it is indeed executed in a magnificent specimen of conservation, truly magical." And
thank you very much. Thank you.
yes, and we have a question from one of our students, Shravan. If Shravan, would you like to read it out, or should I read it for you?
I could read it out.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the stones that were actually assembled together, did you have to actually treat the stone in any way, clean it or polish it when you were assembling them together? And
no, we
were
simply
you able
brush.
to use this? Sorry.
We simply brush them so that what moss and lichen what had accumulated over that that would be removed. Nothing more than that. We don't chemically treat it. Chemical treatment is not required for this kind of things. For if it is marble, then you need a kind of chemical treatment. But here you don't need that kind of chemical treatments and other things. So we simply take them and then we brush them with water. That's all. That is enough. So that whatever accretions it had accumulated by being this one under earth, that would be removed. That's all. Nothing more than that. That is why
And
some of these temples,
sorry.
they are still dust over that one. Some of them.
Wow. And since you were building them back from a broken part rather than building them from scratch, were you able to use the old construction methods, or did you have to innovate new ones for reassembling them?
You for sometimes you just cannot have only the old method. Of course, you have to follow the traditional method. You cannot use cement. You have to use lime now as binding material. You have to use lime, surki, and then sand also, and then you have that urutki dal that has to be used, and they should be grinded, and then use it in the same traditional method. You cannot have any kind of new things like that. And but you can introduce some of the new things. For example, you have to bind 2 stones. So for that, insert this one rods, that is steel rods, araldite, all these things. But that would not be visible outside. So you'll have to have a combination of both this one traditional method also, and also at the same time new technology also. It should be a combination of both.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It's actually an interesting method. We have one more question in the chat box that says, were there any parts missing? And if yes, what was done to remake them?
Yes, there are some parts, missing, but if it is, unless it is very essential structurally for standing, we don't use, we don't often use it like that one. For example, in that in that structure where we had met the dacoit, there we had to redo some of the pillars, and also on the top of it, there was this one ceiling stone that also we had to redo it. So only in such places we do it, because without that one, that is the roof, without the pillars, you cannot reconstruct it. So only in such essential places we do it. So that is your own discretion. You had to go and see the place, then you had to have a discussion with your colleagues, and then you come to some kind of conclusion.
Thank you, sir. We have faculty who've raised their hands up. So, Ainsley, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Uh, Thanks, sir. It was a fantastic and truly inspiring lecture. I mean, 2 hours, fantastic, really. It was great to kind of witness and see the processes in which you have kind of done this work. I had the opportunity to meet you when I was doing my research on the churches of Goa when
Actually,
you were in Panjim. Yeah, it was
I
many
see.
years ago. So thank you
You are
once
saying,
again because you had kind of given me a lot of help. But
the,
one question I have for you is that obviously when you put up these temples and you've conserved it, etc., etc., then you need to actually have a community or who kind of looks after it and takes care of it. I mean, obviously you have an attachment for it, so you'll write, etc., etc. But is there a community who will actually take care of this for years to come, so that we can all avail of this wonder?
oh yes, now there it is under protected monument under Archaeological Survey of India. So that way, but under Archaeological Survey of India is in a very bad condition now. I mean, it is in distress, real distress, as I said, since the last many years. I have never seen Archaeological Survey of India in such a bad condition. I am very forthright in my criticism because we all expected a lot from the present government. Is a delusion. So, but still, of course, the skeleton staff is there. We are maintaining the hall monuments and also the beautiful garden also. So you can go any day, any day, any day. And
But
now,
would you?
because
But
yeah.
now, if you, I mean, we see a archaeological survey of India. I mean, having a hold on many of these monuments. Would you actually propose some corporate kind of way in which people can engage with it, or the local community to kind of maintain these places? And there's some kind of partnership with the government to kind of look after these monuments. Now, I'm talking at the broader level, at the country, rather than
Wonderful
put
question.
everything on.
Wonderful
Yeah.
question. Wonderful question. See, this has come up because that is why I took Madam also to that place, Madam Sudha Murthy, and it was not I took it. Madam wanted to come, and Madam is now contributing for the conservation of the monument. And then this one is there. I have given one more proposal to the Madhya Pradesh Tourism Department that you have to have a dacoit museum there, a dacoit museum, because there are hundreds of this one, because people in 30 films have propagated, given advertisement to that area, that is the Chambal Valley. I mean, right from this one, Mother India up to Dacoit Queen and all those Sholay and all those films, they have adulterated it like anything. But at the same time, foreigners and people from other part of India, they have not seen the area. So this is an area for showcasing the whole Chambal area. And you have a number of this one arms and ammunition caught from these people. That is from the basic Gujar, from that Rambabu area. And all of them are now rotting in various malkhanas. So you have to take them out, like that in England, you have that this one, the famous museum of the dacoit. What is his name? The famous dacoit of England, Robin Hood. Robin Hood Museum is there. Roberts Museum is there in this one in Spain. So similarly, make a museum like that one, and then re-employ the same people. That is what I made in my proposal. Re-employ the same people, the villagers, the dacoit, the surrendered dacoit, re-employ them. Give an advertisement in the newspapers that in England, in France, that you would be having your lunch with so and so dacoit who surrendered in this year, and there will be number of people to come and have a lunch with those people, and this would be served by them. गवर्नमेंट के लिए ये कोई चीज नहीं है doing all this thing. but they should have some kind of brain wave also, which is absolutely lacking. मैं 1 साल हो गया अभी, 1 साल से ज्यादा हो गया मैंने प्रपोजल दिया है, कुछ नहीं है। वो अगर जो है ना कोई पॉलिटिकल इम्पैक्ट होगा तो वो जल्दी आएंगे। ये सब कौन सी है? 4 करोड़ रोना गवर्नमेंट के लिए कुछ भी नहीं था। आई नो हाउ दे आर वेस्टिंग मनी because I was there in various tourism committee meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
मुझे याद नहीं है कब आपसे मुलाकात हुआ था क्योंकि because you might have changed a lot.
I had a lot of hair at that point
अच्छा,
of
अच्छा,
time.
अच्छा, अच्छा, ठीक,
It was in 94, I think, when you were in
yes,
Tanzania.
94, yeah.
Yeah,
तो
yeah.
वो उस पीरियड में तो ये भी था हमारा एक्सपोजिशन का पीरियड भी था।
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes.
I was studying the churches of Goa and I wrote
अच्छा, अरे
100
वाह, wonderful.
Yeah.
अच्छा,
So that's where you helped me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ainsley. We have had Jimmy's hand up too. I'd like to invite Jimmy to speak as well.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. It has been really an inspiring story. I'm so glad that you were invited to speak to us. We've been very used to listening to architects and not archaeologists, but it was for once it was a change. It was fun also, the start part when you were talking about dacoits, and it was something really different. But most important of all, I would like to just pass a comment that in these times when we are debating about how secure we are, you have brought in a great contribution to the country's heritage and history. Hats off to you, and may you do many more such works, and we truly appreciate your great work in the field of conservation. Thank you very much, sir.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. We have many questions in the chat box, but unfortunately we are short of time. So we would like to send the questions over to you such that they can be answered. Once again, I would like to thank you for the wonderful presentation and the very exciting and interesting story that you presented for us. We hope to see you sometime in college. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hello.
you,
Thank
sir.
you.
And thank you for your patience for trying to get into the software.
It is there in YouTube also, Rebirth of a Forgotten Temple Complex, Bateshwar. It is a 20 minutes documentary. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.